So let's go ahead and look at exit ticket form C. I'm going to start with my horizontal asymptote because I can look at that from my original function. I'm going to look at my degrees of my numerator and denominator. They both have a degree of 2, so if the degrees are the same, I'm going to divide my coefficients. So that will be y is equal to -2 divided by 1. -2 divided by 1 will leave me with -2. To get my vertical asymptote and the rest of my information, I'm going to have to simplify my function here. So I'm going to factor out a -2x on my numerator, which will leave me then with x plus 4. And that's going to be divided by x plus 4 times x minus 2, because those are my factor form of x squared plus 2x minus 8. I will cancel out my x plus 4's to leave me with -2x divided by x minus 2. And to get my vertical asymptote, I'm going to set my denominator equal to 0. So x minus 2 equals 0. I will get x equals 2. And I'm going to go ahead and draw those two lines here as dashed lines. So at x equals 2, one dashed line here, my vertical asymptote, and then at -2 for my horizontal asymptote. So let's go ahead next and determine our hole, the coordinate for that, and our hole will be at the x value where we got things canceled out at. So I will set my x plus 4, which I canceled out, equal to 0 to give me x equals -4. And I'm going to go ahead and plug that into my simplified equation here. So that will give me -2 times -4 divided by -4 minus 2 to give me 8 divided by -6, which simplifies down to a -4/3. So again, that is going to be my y coordinate of my hole. So my overall coordinate of my hole will be -4, comma, -4/3. Again, we can get fractions. It's perfectly fine. We're just going to kind of eyeball where it should be. So I'm going to go to my x equals 4 and then go down 1 and about 1/3 down and draw my hole here. Next, I'm going to get my x-intercept by setting my numerator equal to 0. So I have -2x equals 0. If I divide both sides by -2, I will get x equals 0. So my x-intercept will be at 0, 0. And then for my y-intercept, I'm going to plug in 0 for all my x values. So I'll have -2 times 0 divided by 0 minus 2, which will give me 0 divided by -2. And at 0 divided by anything, or 0 divided by -2 in this case, will give me 0. So again, my y-intercept will also be at the point 0, 0. No need to plot that twice. Next, I'm going to draw some more points on the other side of my graph just to keep things symmetrical and so I can have more plotted points. If I go up 2 and left 2 from my point where my asymptotes cross, I can go right 2, down 2 to plot that point there because it's symmetrical. I can also go left 6 and up about 2/3. So I can go right 6 and down about 2/3 here to get another point. And for good measure, I'm going to get one more point at, let's say, x equals 1. So if I plug 1 into my simplified function, I will have -2 times 1 divided by 1 minus 2, which will give me -2 divided by 1 minus 2, which is -1, which will give me 1. So I have another point here. So if I go left 1, up 3, I can go right 1, down 3. And so I'm just going to connect these dots. Again, my ends will approach my asymptotes but never touch it. So it should look something like that on the bottom right. And on the top left, it should look something like this. And so lastly, let's do my domain and my range. So my domain, my x values, starting from -infinity, going from left to right, I first hit a hole before I hit my asymptote, and my hole is at x equals -4. So -infinity to -4, union. We're going to pick up at -4, and we're going to keep going right until I hit my asymptote at x equals 2. Union, pick up at 2, and it will keep going on to the right forever, so infinity. Same thing for the range, just going from the bottom all the way to the top. So start with negative infinity, comma, going up to our asymptote, our horizontal asymptote here of y equal, or not y, yeah, y equals 2. So I will get at negative 2, union, negative 2, we go up to our whole at negative 4/3, union, and then negative 4/3 to infinity. And so that's how we would graph exit ticket C, as well as determine all these features of the function.